Good morning to all of you, and thank you for being with us today on this very important day in the state of Nevada, particularly southern Nevada. Union workers, I see so many of them in the audience here today, like Frank and his team, helped build Nevada from the ground up. They helped build our stadiums and our resorts, and they'll be integral to the construction of our newest project kicking off today. When we built T-Mobile, it was built with union labor. It was union strong. And they said we couldn't build Allegiant Stadium. The working men and women of Nevada built Allegiant Stadium. Now they're going to build this infrastructure. When there's a problem, when there's a task to be done, we turn to our union brothers and sisters, our union leadership, and they make it happen. And we are forever thankful for that. I want to start with my deep appreciation for all the members of our federal delegation that are here with us today, and so many of our state and local leaders for being. I'm especially thankful to our Secretary Buttigieg, but I want to call out Senator Cortez Masto, Senator Rosen, Congresswoman Titus, Congresswoman Lee, Congresswoman Horsford. I've got Lieutenant Governor Cano Burkhead is in the audience, Chairman Yeager's here, Mayor Goodman's here, Treasurer Conine's here. We've got everybody. Fabian, thank you. I appreciate it. They know how important this is to our entire community and what this means to the working men and women. But we've also got Christina Swallow, who has shown leadership on these projects to get them done. Nevada's infrastructure would not be what it is without your help, and we sincerely thank you for all that you've done for us and continue to do. I'm so glad to be here to officially announce the I-15 and Tropicana Interchange project, which has been decades in the making. I mean decades in terms of coming, and we're so thankful that we're really going to get started on this. This interchange is the access point to the world-renowned Las Vegas Strip for tourists and for many of our residents commuting to and from work. If they're driving into town, they're probably going to be getting off on the 15 at Tropicana and either going to the Strip or straight to Allegiant Stadium or T-Mobile for an event. This is the gateway to the entertainment and sports capital of the world, with sold-out concerts here at Allegiant and at T-Mobile, just on the other side of the I-15. And professional sporting events at first-class resorts, as many as 300,000 visitors on the Strip in just one weekend. 300,000. That's when you're going to ramp up as we host events like Formula One next year and the Super Bowl in 2024. Not only will hundreds of thousands of visitors make a trip to Las Vegas, but these events support our economy and provide tens of thousands of jobs for Nevadans. The stadium's already created thousands of new jobs, from construction to transportation, from small business suppliers to technical staff. It represents one part of a more diversified economic future. The project we kick off today will support more than 4,600 construction jobs through its duration. And I know we throw these numbers around pretty loosely, 1,000 here, 500 here, 4,600 there. I want you to think about 4,600 jobs. Those are the most important 4,600 jobs there are to those 4,600 people. To your members who are going to have a chance to go to work because of these jobs that are getting put on the ground. They can support their families, take a vacation with their families, buy their kids a new backpack or pair of shoes when they go back to school because of our investment in infrastructure and what our federal delegation has fought so hard to get for us. This interchange is the main road connecting tourists and locals alike to the heart of Las Vegas and so many major events. That's why we need to invest in safe and effective infrastructure. This interchange is 60 years old, almost as old as I am, not quite. That wasn't meant as a joke. It's required significant repairs over the years. It's needed major upkeep and reconstruction and became outdated with all the new technology that we have available to us today. The project will be adding safety features like active traffic management signs to reduce the number and severity of crashes. The updated bridge will also make it easier to get through traffic for our drivers that use it in their commute every single day. We've seen the massive crowds of people who walk from the Strip over to Allegiant, across Hacienda here, across Russell. With this upgrade, there will be more routes for event goers to take, with wider sidewalks and better lighting for the walk back to their car after that Raider victory. As we prepare for major events and increase traffic through our city in the upcoming years, we must invest now in infrastructure that will last and be effective as we grow. I'm proud to be here today with Secretary Pete Buttigieg. This project would not be possible without your help and leadership with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. I'm going to say that one more time because it's extremely important. This project would not be possible today without the Secretary's leadership with the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and our delegation fighting for every one of these dollars for our state. This project is expected to start this year and finish in just 2 years, getting a construction done that will have a fast impact on our traffic and our safety. And I know us locals in Las Vegas are happy it won't take very long. I want to again thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us at these functions. And thank you on behalf of the 4,600 families that are going to have an improved lifestyle because of union labor, because our union brothers and sisters can build it, and because they build it safely and like no other city in the world can do. So it is with my distinct honor to have the opportunity to introduce a friend of Nevada, an incredible public servant to the United States of America, and someone who has been a champion, not just for this project, but for projects nationwide, and a champion for the working men and women in the United States of America. Thank you very much for joining me, and with that, I'd like to introduce United States Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg.
Thank you, Governor, for the kind words. Thank you for your extraordinary leadership. Thank you for your understanding of the importance of infrastructure and challenging us to make sure we meet the pace that you have set here at the state level, together with the terrific work, Director Swallow, that you and your colleagues at NDOT are doing, that frankly didn't wait for solutions to come from Washington, to get the ball rolling, to lay the literal groundwork so that now that we have been able to deliver this Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Nevada is poised to take such quick and effective advantage of those dollars. Thank you to everybody who's part of this, union leadership, business leadership, people who understand that we're not just building stadiums or highways. When you have these kinds of construction jobs, you're building a living for people in Nevada and around the country. I want to thank Senator Cortez Masto and Senator Rosen, Congressman Horsford, Congresswoman Lee, and Congresswoman Titus, who joined us by video. I'll have more to say about them in a moment, but I just want to open by making clear that their support is directly the reason why we see this extraordinary infrastructure investment happening in Nevada and around the country. They have done so much to make it possible for us to have the tools that were just talked about by Congress after Congress, administration after administration, infrastructure week after infrastructure week, and now we are beginning a true infrastructure decade, and you can see it all around us. I want to thank all of the leaders from the local and the state level, the mayor, and everyone who has helped to demonstrate what it looks like when people team up to get results. And Frank, I want to thank you and the carpenters for everything that you and all of the building trades have been doing in order to make this region a model for economic development that benefits people. I got to tell you, I'm having some very strong memories coming back to Las Vegas, not just because of the many visits that I was making here a couple of years ago when I got to know many of you well, but because of the last time I was here. It was in August. I was all set to do a whole bunch of events. We had that great event with Congresswoman Lee celebrating the work we're going to do to enhance safety on the Boulder Highway. And during that trip, I got the most disruptive and wonderful phone call of my life. We had been on a list for a better part of a year, hoping for a chance to expand our family through adoption, and got the call, and it was one of those surprise kind of calls that had me on an airplane as quick as I could be, in the next morning, Chasten and I were holding our newborn infant twins in our arms. So I just have all these strong feelings when I come back here, because I have these associations with something that changed everything in my life, and I think about everything that's changed since then. Like every parent, my world has been turned upside down. Like every parent, I have a different relationship to the future now. now that I spend every day training my replacement in this world. I think about the infrastructure that we're building that they're going to count on for the rest of their lives. And of course, I've been thinking about everything that has changed, even just in that short, less than a year, since I was here last for this community. Because back then, we were still selling the idea of that bipartisan infrastructure law. And as some of the members of the House and Senate mentioned, it was declared dead many times last year before they saw it through and the president signed it on the south lawn of the White House in November, some 6 months ago. And now, here we are, in a place that is experiencing such extraordinary growth in jobs, in population, in economic activity, which brings a lot of challenges to support that growth with adequate infrastructure to keep it going. And of course, communities that have faced the ups and downs more dramatically even than most around the United States in the last couple years, and met them admirably. Again, under the governor's leadership, laying the groundwork, pun intended, for the kind of work that we see, funding for the first time the state's infrastructure bank, moving forward on important projects like the one that we're seeing today. And then we have this federal work that we're so proud of. We are helping communities across America, improving their infrastructure with roads and rail, trains and transit, ports and airport improvements, internet, water systems. It's the biggest effort of this kind in the better part of a century. We've already announced almost $1 billion headed to Nevada specifically, and that's just the beginning. And that's what brings us here today, to this terrific project. And so I'm thrilled to join the governor and the leaders here to celebrate the beginning of work on this I-15 Tropicana Interchange. We're going to replace the old bridge, improve access ramps, double the width of the sidewalks, add advanced traffic safety features that are known to reduce crashes. Bottom line, dramatically improve people's travel into and out of the Las Vegas Strip. I know that a lot of people have been spending the last couple of years on Zoom, but as we've all felt now more than ever, real connection, real economic growth happens when people are together. Las Vegas knows that so well. And to be in person one way or the other, you have to move, you have to travel. Maybe it's just down the street, maybe it's from another state. Maybe it's on foot, maybe it's by car. You have to get from one place to another. And when we rely on generations old infrastructure to try to meet the needs of today, let alone to try to prepare for the dreams of the future, it leaves us wanting. It leaves us less safe, it leaves us less efficient, and it limits our economic potential. That's what we're fixing today. We're improving a road design that was set up long before Las Vegas looked the way that it did today. And so modernizing this intersection is going to help more people get to where they need to go more safely, more efficiently, and more reliably. And people get something else back that's right along, in my view, ranks right alongside the dollars and cents that are going to be brought into the economy and brought into family budgets through this work. People are going to get time back in their day. The only thing that we have at the end of the day. Time spent with loved ones. Time to think about what matters instead of being stuck in traffic. That's so important alongside the importance of these jobs. The over 4,000 jobs that we're so pleased to see that are directly connected to this project. But of course, there are all of the indirect jobs that are going to benefit from this as well. Later today, I'm going to be at the Carpenters Training Center, meeting with a number of representatives from the unions there and the people who are literally building America's future and operating it and maintaining it with those good-paying jobs that can become good-paying careers. But we would not be here if it weren't for the leadership of the folks you see on the stage with me. And so again, I want to thank Governor Sisolak for making clear that infrastructure would be a priority and for recognizing the importance of transportation and of infrastructure in creating not just physical assets, but livelihoods. I want to thank Senators Cortez Masto and Senator Rosen for their work in shaping this legislation and believing in it through all of these times when it has gone through those ups and downs and seeing it through. And you should know that they do not hesitate to get a hold of me when there is any opportunity they can think of for federal dollars to benefit the state of Nevada, as I would expect, and it's very much to your benefit. Representatives Horsford and Lee and Titus, who were there from the beginning, who knew why this was going to be so important, and stepped up in a moment when a lot of people were skeptical of the idea you could get a bipartisan anything law done in today's Washington, in today's divided Washington, And yet here we are. So successful that we're seeing what I consider to be the sincerest form of flattery in the policy world, which is people who didn't support it wanting to be there to help celebrate the good projects that are getting done and are getting initiated thanks to this legislation. Now, the only thing that the former mayor in me loves more than a groundbreaking is a ribbon cutting. And so what I'm really looking forward to over the course of the months and years to come is seeing these extraordinary efforts come to completion, and then, most importantly of all, seeing the lives that are going to benefit from this work. It's not about the transportation itself, unless you're an infrastructure buff like me. It's about the lives that are going to be improved. And here in this community, whether it's for the people who come and go from this community, the people who have been here all their lives, that's what this is ultimately going to do. It's going to make everyday life safer. It's going to make everyday life a little bit better. And it's going to make this country stronger in the process. Thanks again for everything that you're doing. So glad that I could be part of this.